Well, it's Wednesday. I'm happy to be back. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing? Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the PJ Campbell Network. This is the PJ Campbell Show. I'm PJ. That's Chance. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. It's been I'm glad we got a shorter time between episodes because I'm also excited to talk about a lot of stuff. Mostly our main topic today, which is Mr. Stephen King. Happy birthday, sir.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we both did not know today was his birthday.
We did not.
This was not planned in any capacity. We had gone through and we were like, well, we should do top 12 Stephen King films because spooky season. Like, it just made sense. We're celebrating spooky stuff kind of all year here because that's what we do. We like the spookies. So we were like, sure, let's do that. And then come today. Oh, hey, it's actually his birthday on top of it.
Yeah. What are the odds?
Very, very low. Very low indeed, actually.
About one in 365 plus whatever, whenever we're going to record.
But we're here.
But we are here.
We did it. I'm glad that we decided that we're going to do like a whole horror theme series, which, that's a tip of the hat to what's coming next week. We will announce at the end of the episode what next week is going to be, but I think we're just going to keep that ball rolling for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, this is we're in the said spooky season, so this seems like the right time to talk a lot of these take a lot of these topics. And there's one particular that we talked about. I'm very excied to see how that goes.
I don't want to spoil that one, but it's really, really good.
That was gonna be
I
fun.
like it a lot, actually. It's gonna be really fun. But I'm happy to say that not a lot has happened over the last week. There was not a lot of news.
No, not a ton, but there are some things that happened. First of which, I guess this is the thing we have to tell people. Do not cook your chicken in NyQuil.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That was what I wanted to bring up.
Dude, I saw this yesterday. Who is cooking chicken in NyQuil?
Well, yeah, I heard about it, and it's like, that's not real. Then I saw on Twitter, and it's like, oh no, this is...
Oh, it's real.
This is a thing people are actually doing. Like, I don't... Well, like, they're not even doing, like, the...
Sean. That was for Sean. He said, no jump scares.
Yeah, they're not even doing with, like, the flavored NyQuil, not even, like, at least, do, like, the citrus one, or, like, the cherry. No, they're doing with, like, the mint, like, factory blue NyQuil.
The world has lost the plot on what we're supposed to be doing. We as humans need to be stopped. Who the fuck is wanting to do this?
We should do eventually top 12 dumbest internet challenges.
I love where your head's at because I think that and Tide Pod.
Is Tide Pod still like the gold standard of internet stupidity?
It kind of. I mean, I still made a joke about it last week, so it's like still hanging around. But I don't know. NyQuil chicken's fucking up there.
NyQuil chicken's definitely a top 12, easily.
Who was asking? Who thought that was a good idea?
Remember we thought the cinnamon challenge was the worst it was gonna get?
Yeah, no. We as humans have let down our creator or aliens or whatever it is.
I'm trying to remember. It was one a couple years back. It was like the whole thing like you dance while your car is rolling.
Oh, because you
remember
saw
that
them
one, right?
doing it in 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, no, it had nothing to do with 21 Jump Street. It was just like a Drake song came out, and like there was a whole board like you just like dance while you ghost ride the whip. That's where I come from. Just watching that one, just like what is? Yeah.
What are we doing as a species?
I have no idea.
I just don't understand. We're lost. We deserve the nuke. We deserve the comet. Like,
what do you mean? Wait, I didn't do anything.
Oh no. We as humanity. Just humanity.
Again, I didn't do anything.
We didn't stop this.
I didn't think it was a thing I had to stop. Like of all the things I thought to stop, okay, global warming, fix the rainforest, plant a tree.
NyQuil chicken was not.
NyQuil chicken's not on my list.
NyQuil chicken was not on any of our lists.
Stop Donald Trump being president a second time. I never thought NyQuil chicken was a thing I'd have to stop.
So I really just kind of want to comment to take this place out. I really do, because NyQuil chicken. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I guess the Queen did die in the time that we were off the air.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way,
so if you guys don't know, the Queen of England, she died. So now James Bond is no longer a part of Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yes, now His Majesty's Secret Service.
That movie title is wrong now.
It is wrong now.
I'm very sad, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really sad for the Queen's death.
No, I'm sad about the James Bond of it.
I mean, I'm sad for England, mostly because like they are now in their worst case scenario because they do the last thing they ever wanted was Charles to be king.
Because no one wants Charles in charge.
Nobody wants Charles in charge. Go away, Scott Baio.
God. Oh my God. I forgot that was Scott Baio until this moment.
Yeah.
Not that I don't actively obviously watch Charles in Charge of like all the weird 80s sitcoms that I could watch. That is not one of them that is on my list.
But yeah, as much I feel like that's the only reason the Queen lived so long, because she was willing to do everything to keep Charles out of power.
I mean, that was probably the right move. To be honest. I mean,
Charles is a wanker.
Who wanted Charles in charge?
Nobody wanted Charles to be king, but here we are.
And so now, like, all their money, they have to change their money now and put Charles on the money instead of the Queen.
Charles will never be on the money.
You don't think so?
No, there's no, like, Queen Elizabeth had to be queen for like over 70 years to get on the money. They're not putting Charles on after his reign's gonna last like what, 20?
I mean, I'm afraid that dude is gonna find a way to just keep extending it.
keep extending his life.
Yeah.
He does that whole Walt Disney cryogenic freezing.
I mean, he kind of looks like he could be a vampire. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No. He hasn't aged as well as a vampire does.
No. But it's like the version that's been like hanging out too long in the dark.
That's sure. Yeah.
Like that's the version he looks like.
Like the older version of Dracula and Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Or Gary Oldman.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like the way he looked like super old in that movie.
Oh yeah. Gary Oldman. that one.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman's gonna play him in a movie. Just watch.
I mean, got Churchill already, so you got to go.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's good at doing that. I mean, it would be a fat suit this time at least.
I mean, the saddest thing about this is that it delayed the last season of The Crown because I guess they had a plan in case the Queen died.
Oh, really?
They did.
What is your plan? What is your out if the Queen dies? That you're like, were they jumping far enough ahead that this was going to be a thing?
I think so, because the last season, I don't know if it was the last season or this season that they're doing like Diana, and then Elizabeth Debicki was gonna play Diana.
I knew. I thought that they had filmed some of that.
Yeah, I think they did, but I also think, they also had like a big focus on the actual Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, okay.
So I do think they had like
Interesting. That I did not.
It's going to end with her dying.
I actually have not watched The Crown.
I do not.
No, I should.
I had to watch it because my brother kept bugging me about it because he loves that show.
Oh, really?
He does.
My mom loves that show too. So your brother is in good company, I guess.
Yeah.
Apparently, Reefism said Voodoo Donuts once had a NyQuil donut, but they had discontinued it because they were cited by the health department.
But like, did they actually use NyQuil?
That's very concerning. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Like, or just like a mint, like a cool mint donut.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a cool mint donut.
No, because like if it was like a chocolate, like a cool mint drizzle, I think that'd be nice. But like if it was actual NyQuil in it, why would you do that?
Yeah, what are we doing? Is it again? We are lost.
Yeah.
Every day we stray farther and farther from Cthulhu's darkness.
I mean, do we want to be in Cthulhu's darkness?
At this point, yes.
I feel like it'd be much worse under him.
I
feel like NyQuil can be standard issue.
I mean, Cthulhu judges you number one.
I mean that's fine. You're not real, but like
you don't know that. We don't know.
That's true. We don't know.
We don't know. I mean, look, man.
Remember we had like a random Cthulhu movie just come out in theaters?
Have I ever told you the story about the first time I watched it?
Underwater?
Yeah.
Underwater we're talking about.
Yeah, starring Kristen Stewart. It came out in the January 2020 right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so it hit digital really, really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I missed it.
Well, because like it wasn't even doing well in theaters.
No. I mean, it was a semi big budgeted R-rated horror film in the middle of January, and January is always a tough slot, kind of regardless. Bad Boys for Life was already cleaning up. Lord knew that we had no idea what was going to come with the Will Smith of it all at that time.
But yeah, I'll touch on Will Smith in a second. But yeah, keep going.
And so in all of that, I missed the movie in theaters, and Cthulhu just face planted because I'm telling this story. I finally bought it on digital, and I decided to put it on one night because our friend Tim had been like, "You need to watch it." Cthulhu shows up at the end, like you're gonna lose your mind. I was like, "All right, cool."
He spoiled it for you?
Huh?
He spoiled it for you?
Yeah.
I mean, the best part is not knowing.
Oh, I know, but I mean, I legitimately probably underwater horror is some of my least favorite horror because it's like my worst nightmare. So I tend not to watch a lot of them.
So you don't get down with ground space?
I mean, I'll watch it. They're usually good, but
Yeah.
like they actually get under my skin. So I was relatively stoned when I put it on, and I had forgotten to eat. And so my high was going bad really quickly, and I started to get like super panicky watching it. And so oh my god. So I like came upstairs to shower to like try to come down from it a little bit, but I had left the movie on, and all I could hear were the noises from the movie, which was making the situation so much worse. So I left the movie running downstairs until it was over, and I was sitting in bed watching Psych, just trying to like come down, decompress. It was a bad situation. Never again. Don't watch underwater while you're really stoned if you don't like that stuff.
Yeah. But speaking of Will Smith, real quick.
Yeah.
You know, he's been in Hollywood jail for a little bit, but it looks like he's might be getting out soon because it looks like Emancipation, anti-Fuqua movie he did for Apple might release towards the end of this year.
Yeah, which I'm excited about. Sounding like a December release.
Yeah, which again I'm looking forward to the movie mostly because I am still a fan of Will Smith, and I do think Fuqua's a really good director.
And I've liked the fact that it sounds like Fuqua was trying to go back closer to like the Training Day roots. Like, don't get me wrong, I've really liked his Equalizer films with Denzel. Like, they've been super fun.
And I guess they're doing a third one.
Yeah, and they're doing a third one. Like, and who is it? They cast someone. I think was it Dakota Fanning? Yeah, Dakota Fanning is going to be in it, and it's a
Man on Fire reunion.
Yeah, Man on Fire reunion, which I think is super cool. And I've liked like the Magnificent Seven. I like Fuqua.
Yeah, I think he's a talented director.
But I like that he's doing this. This is super exciting.
Yeah, I do. And from a lot of things we hear, that this is like his best movie since Training Day. Which again gets me excited. But I also think that this is very telling, like, where we are with Wolf, because like another story came out how he's producing, possibly starring in another movie from a female director, which I think might be the first time he's worked with a female director.
I think
potentially.
So. I think so. Yeah.
I might be wrong, but off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else. But like, this is kind of what I've been kind of saying since the whole incident happened. Like, the dude's not going to lose his career over a fucking slap. It's not going to happen.
And he shouldn't. Number one.
And he shouldn't.
He shouldn't. I think that people have lost the script to say that he should lose his career.
Yeah, like I don't think he should have done that, but I don't think that he should lose his career over it.
We were sitting together when it happened.
All of us were just like, the fuck just happened?
Because we had a couple of people over. We were watching the Oscars together, and we were like, this is not a stunt. What is fucking happening right now?
Did Will Smith just bitch slap Chris Rock?
Yeah, that was a whole look. He should not lose his career over it. It's ridiculous.
And he won't. Like, I really hope he doesn't, because I'm so excited. I still want the I Am Legend sequel with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, honestly, I think what we're gonna see is he's gonna start doing, like, there's a lot of rumors that he might be coming back as Deadshot already. Like, he was seen with the look.
Yeah, I'd want him to come back.
Mm-hmm. And then Bad Boys 4 was supposed to happen and had been stalled because of this. Don't be shocked if he starts to do like a return of sort of thing in the way that Harrison Ford has been doing lately. But Ford's doing it differently. He's doing it because he's retiring, and he's like slowly trying to put to bed his feelings on his career, which is fair. Like, it's why he did Star Wars. It's why he did Indy. It's why he did Blade Runner. I think Will do it as a way to try to bridge the gap with an audience that may have turned on him a little bit.
I mean, he's trying to earn back some of the goodwill he lost after that night.
I wouldn't be shocked if he decided to try to do like another Men in Black.
I mean, I'd be shocked if Sony might let him do it, just because
that's what I mean.
That he's Sony's boy.
Mm-hmm. And I could see a world where you try to use like Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth and him. Like, you could. International's not great.
No. I don't want more You know, I want sequels to his film, but I don't want him in him. I want more oil paintings in Will Smith sequels.
Independence Day
and Men in Black.
I'm having bad flashbacks.
Men in Black did the same thing.
I know. I know, but Independence Day is like the egregious.
I was waiting for the oil painting in the Suicide Squad.
I'm having nightmare flashback scenarios.
But I will say this, speaking of this, real quick. I saw 3,000 Years of Longing recently.
Yeah, you did. I hadn't had a chance to see it yet.
I do think it's funny that it looks like Idris Elba just trying to do all of Will Smith's roles. Like, okay, I'm gonna be a black guy who shoots really well. I'm gonna be a genie. I'm waiting for that like time with like a buddy cop.
How has Idris not been in a buddy cop movie yet?
Yeah, it's weird. He hasn't.
He should be. Like, Idris of all people. Well, he's in Rock and Roll, but he's not really like good cop, bad cop type thing in that. He should do something like that.
He should.
He'd be really good at that, actually.
I mean, he's good in anything. I love Idris as an actor. I think he's fantastic.
I do too. I think Idris is one of the most interesting actors right now still in Hollywood. His career is...
I watched fucking Beast because of Idris Elba.
I have not watched that yet. I have not subject myself.
It's not bad.
No?
No, it's not that bad. I think you'd enjoy it.
I probably would. I mean, you know what it reminded me of was Ghost in the
Darkness. Yeah.
Yeah. I was getting strong Ghost in the Darkness vibes.
But I mean, it's part of the whole trilogy of film that feels like Universal's like, you know what, we're not going to develop any new stuff. We're just going to dust off some old scripts we've had lying around since the 90s.
So that explains Rob Zombie's Monsters.
That too. That is Universal. Yeah, because we've had Marry Me, Beast, we're getting the Monsters, and Ticket to Paradise, the George Clooney one.
Oh yeah, the one by the Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again director.
Yeah, O.L. Parker, or I don't know if it's O.L. or O.L. Parker, but yeah, that guy.
I really, really actually want to see that. That trailer,
I kind of do too.
That trailer is like endlessly charming. That's the best way to describe it. Because every time I see it, I'm smiling and laughing at the same time.
I also just miss seeing George Clooney and stuff.
Me too. I like George Clooney.
I do too.
And I like when he does comedy and does stuff like this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like his dramatic work, but stuff like this in Oceans, where it reminded me that he was kind of endlessly cool. We forget Clooney was endlessly cool in like the late 90s and early 2000s. You're
so cool that say let him be Batman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, literally in that one.
To mixed results.
But, you know, he was Frozen in that movie, you know.
Oh, shut up.
You know, literally cool.
Oh, you fucking ice punned me. You fucking ice punned me. And I didn't see it coming. That's the worst part. I did not see that coming.
I'm very proud of that, actually.
Yeah. Joel Schumacher's laughing in his grave right now.
I really want Schumacher's Batman Forever still. Not like we got his Batman Forever.
We got Batman Forever. It fucking sucks.
No, but he had a director's cut that he had been working on before he died. It's one that I know has kind of like lived in infamy for the longest time. And it looked like for a while it was actually going to get released, but I don't know.
Is that the one where he sees like a giant bat?
Yeah, it is. That deleted scene's out there. Like you can see that. I know that exists.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm really not.
I mean, look, man, I would watch the shit out of it. I would, because ultimately at the end of the day, I'm always going to have a soft spot for Batman Forever. And I would have liked to see if he had tried to do something more Birdcast.
This is maybe my hot take. I think Batman Forever is the worst Batman movie of all time. Like pretty handedly.
I mean,
I can at least watch Batman and Robin and like kind of have a fun time with it. Just for Arnold Schwarzenegger, just not giving a fuck.
Batman and Robin at least feels like Batman 66 as a big budget movie. Like I can let that slide.
Forever's a fucking slog.
Well, that's why I would be curious. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I mean, I don't necessarily know if I think it's good.
Does it cut Tommy Lee Jones out of the movie?
No, probably not.
Yeah, let's see. Right there. It's already not a better movie.
I always laugh when I rewatch it and Jon Favreau's in it.
Oh, that's right. He's like a random like Wayne guard.
Yeah, I had a 5-point question for the Schmodown written about that at one point.
I mean, this part of Favreau just taking notes as to what not to do in Iron Man.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't hate the idea of watching a director's cut of it though, because like similarly, it would be like Donner when he went back to Superman 2 and we got to finally see what he would have done. Like I kind of would have enjoy. Even if it's still bad, like morbid curiosity would like me to see the version that he had been working on.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like for me with the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, or the Zack Snyder Justice League.
Yeah. I
mean, I wasn't interested at all.
Right.
And coming to release, I still wasn't. But I'm like, you know what? I got to see it at least once. Do I think I'll ever watch it again? Probably not. At least not in one block. I might like watch it in chunks if I ever feel.
I mean, it's broken up in.
I never had the urge to watch it though. That's the thing.
It was broken up into 5 parts, right?
Yeah, it's
because I think it was rumored to be a series at one point, like a mini series. So they definitely chaptered it out like that.
Yeah, so I think that if I were to watch again, I would watch it. But I can't I can't sit and do the whole 4-hour block again.
No, I did it the first time in the 4-hour block, and I've seen it once since. But it was definitely over.
I never been tempted to watch it again. Honestly, like it's just.
I like it visually, and I think it looks beautiful in black and white.
There are certain no, I'm not gonna sit and watch that in black and white. No.
I mean, I watched Logan in black and white.
I mean, I watched Logan, but like Logan's also great, and this is Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I like Snyder's Justice League more than you do, to be fair.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I watched it once, but there are certain scenes I'd revisit, but the whole movie, no.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I mean, I kind of like it, but I can't fault you either. Although I don't know if it's in black and white on the Blu-ray or not. In the 4K, probably not, is my guess. I think it's only on
Max.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's only on Max. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Either way, number one most cheerworthy moments from the Oscars.
Speaking of cheerworthy,
where are we going with this?
FIFA has the most random edition of all time.
The greatest edition of all time.
I'm actually buying FIFA this year because of this.
I might buy FIFA too. Yeah, Ted Lasso and AFC Richmond are going to be a playable character and team in FIFA 23.
I'm very excited about this.
I am really enough. I am too. I mean, we both love Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
it's one of
I'm rewatching it right now.
One of the best shows on television right now. I really hope the next season is not the last, as they've been saying.
Yeah, and Brett Goldstein kind of said something that made me think that it may not be, where he was like, I can't really talk about it. If I do, someone will shoot me. And it kind of sounded like they might have plans to keep going, but I'm not.
Yeah,
maybe that's just me being hopeful because I want more.
Well, it's also just a thing where like I don't because there's a lot of plot threads still hanging out there.
Right.
I don't know if they can wrap all of them up within 12 episodes.
It's fair. I would be curious. I mean, I think they could if they really tried.
They could. I feel like it's just kind of the same problem as Game of Thrones. Like we need to like let some of these things breathe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting too. Because speaking of Game of Thrones, did you see that it's like ranking in like 29 million
per episode
are watching, which is really funny because I was pretty sure the internet kept telling me that no one cared about Game of Thrones anymore.
Well, I mean, okay, we don't care about Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon, though.
No, but they were so convinced that House of the Dragon was not going to do well because Game of Thrones season 8 was not their thing.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what happens when you get like quality television again. Something we've been so desperately deprived of for years.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, well, yeah, Doctor Who's been bad lately.
I mainly meant with Game of Thrones specifically.
Yeah.
But I mean, Doctor Who, you're always deprived of quality television. Let's get that right there.
Mind. I'm not doing this with you today. We're not playing that game. We're not baiting me into arguing about Doctor Who.
I mean, there's no debate. Doctor Who fucking sucks.
You're out of your fucking mind, is what you are. But I'm very curious because I actually said this yesterday. It actually reminds me of the stuff around Avatar, and now I'm really scared that there's going to be like this Avatar hive that in December when it opens.
Where is this hive?
I don't know. 29 million people are watching Game of Thrones.
There's not a lot of crossover there, though.
No. But it was the whole idea that everyone kept being like, well, no one cares.
That's true. That's fair enough.
That's what I mean. Like, we keep saying it.
But I think that what helps House of the Dragon, the fact that like House of the Dragon is also good. The fact that it came out and it is as good as it is, I think kind of aids in the helping of that. Like if House of the Dragon came out and it was as bad as the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones, I don't think people will be as interested. I don't think they're pulling those numbers.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's where we're at right now with all this.
But the fact that it is quality television, I think does help it.
And what if Avatar 2 is good?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
It is. James Cameron's never really messed up the sequel.
Yeah, no, that's right. He hasn't.
Like as a director, he has never messed up the sequel.
He is 2 for 2. Yeah, and last time he made a sequel to his own movie, it was actually better than the first movie. So maybe he'll improve. I highly fucking doubt it, but maybe he'll improve.
I mean, look, it's a thing that's happening. I mean, you and I are dragging ourselves to see the re-release.
We are?
Yeah.
I mean, this is news to me.
No. I brought it up to you the other day, and we both kind of went, I guess we should.
Was I drunk?
No.
Damn it.
Nope.
All
no,
right.
we were cooking.
Ah, damn it.
That was So we are gonna go see it in its new 4K re-release.
Yeah.
High frame rate.
Oh God.
Whatever.
Did they give us sick bags just in case?
God, I hope so.
They should. They really should.
But I'm curious, man. Like, I'm starting to think that Avatar 2 might overperform in a way that I was not anticipating.
And I don't think so. I still don't think it gets near the first film. I think it'll do like $1 billion probably.
I think it's gonna do like $1.5 billion almost too.
Yeah, I mean it'll be a big step down from the first film, but it'll still justify making more of these things, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, whether we like it or not, James Cameron got his way.
James Cameron just went into Fox, laid it on the table, and it's still on the table.
You know what he did? He walked in and he wrote Avatar on a board and then put an S.
And then a dollar sign.
Avatars.
But then he wrote like 4 S's and then he turned them all into dollar signs.
Correct. Avatars.
Yeah. Something else I did want to bring up before we before
is this the Karate Kid thing that we kept forgetting to bring up?
It was not. But let's talk about Karate Kid real quick.
Fucking Sony, man.
I
don't understand.
No, I don't understand either. Because I guess they're doing another Karate Kid movie
set in the original timeline.
Wait, is it really?
That's what it said.
Well, because like I think I saw it with one of the Cobra Kai creators said like they hadn't been contacted about a movie.
Oh, no, they haven't. But Sony's press release said it is a return to the original series.
See, that's what I just don't understand. Like are they trying to do a Cobra Kai movie without the creators? Because that's not going to go well.
Or are they trying to do a legacy sequel
that ignores Cobra Kai?
That ignores Cobra Kai, even though we've had a legacy sequel for 5 seasons.
Soon to be 6.
Of Cobra Kai.
I'm surprised it still hasn't been renewed yet.
I am too, actually.
Yeah, it's a little concerning. I mean, not concerning, but just strange.
It is, but Netflix has like a whole thing coming up soon.
That's true. Oh, but ta-dum.
Yeah, ta-dum. So I think ta-dum. They're gonna probably do it there.
Probably, because like there's no way they don't renew that for a 6th season.
I mean, if Cobra Kai gets canceled,
if they get canceled, Netflix, what are you? You made some questionable movies in the past. This might take the cake.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Let's be real here.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen.
I mean, everyone's been talking about it. I've seen a lot of praise for it. Everyone seems to like it.
It's fine. My brother was watching. He texted me about it. Just like, hey, you watch Cobra Kai? I'm like, yeah. So like, is this the end of the whole Mexico storyline? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, that's anticlimactic.
It ended very quickly.
It's just like he's in Mexico for 2 episodes and he's back. Like, what the?
Chance and I watched it all the way through basically in like
2 days.
2 days because we split it into like the first 7 and then we watched
the last 3.
And I was enjoying it, but I looked at Chance like halfway through and I was like, dude, I am ready for the end game at this point. Like,
well, they set up the end game, which I mean, when we saw that press release, we're just like, okay, so they're probably gonna do like a whole setup season for this whole. I mean, minor spoiler alert for Cobra Kai season 5.
Yeah,
they set up this whole thing where like there's this giant worldwide martial arts tournament,
right?
That Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai are gonna compete in,
right?
So we figured that the season 6 was going to be all set up, and then when this press release came out, we're like, okay, so season 6 is going to be all set up for the tournament, and the movie is going to be the tournament. It's going to end the series,
which would have been great.
Which would have been interesting. I would have been fascinated to see how a Cobra Kai movie performed at the box office.
I would have too, especially if you renamed it Karate Kid and did it that way.
Yeah,
like it would have been very interesting. Or if you even called it Karate Kid Part 4 or whatever. However,
but now I'm not entirely sure what this movie is.
Or why it exists.
Oh God, is this sequel to the Jaden Smith movie?
No, because remember the Jaden Smith movie doesn't take place in what we're at least as far as we're aware.
But they said the original timeline.
Yeah.
Do they mean the original Jaden Smith timeline?
No, there's no way. Even though Will produces the show, there's no way.
I'm surprised he hasn't tried to force Jaden Smith to come back for the show.
I wouldn't mind if Jackie Chan.
Get your ass in there.
I would not mind if Jackie Chan showed up.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind. Jackie Chan, sure. Roger Banton, awesome. Jaden Smith, you stay there.
I wonder if, to be honest with you, if we see any of that in this like global tournament.
Maybe.
That would be the one workaround to like tie it all together.
Well, I mean, but the whole thing is like it's a karate tournament, and like they didn't do by the title, they did not do karate in that.
No,
movie.
They did kung fu.
Yeah,
which was, and I think it was called the Kung Fu Kid in like most of the world
Was it really?
here.
That's strange. I mean, it also, like, I feel like it was just written as the Kung Fu Kid, but like it's straight up beat for beat the Karate Kid.
Right.
Like they straight up steal lines and plot points
right
from the Karate Kid.
Because that was the point. Like that's what they were doing. It was a remake.
But it's just strange. Like why not just call it the Kung Fu Kid? Like, they don't do karate.
Well, because Chance, as you know, studios love to chase the names and the IP. And
I know that, but like, did that movie do well?
Yeah, it did really well.
Did it really?
It like they announced a sequel to it not super long after it came out because it performed really well and it was well received.
And then we saw After Earth. I'm like, you know what? Never mind.
It kind of feels like that's kind of what happened. I think Jaden also just kind of stopped acting, and I think that played a part in it.
He's doing TV. He did some TV. He was in that show. Remember that show, The Get Down, the one that Baz Luhrmann did for Netflix?
Oh yeah, the one. It was like one season.
Well, because it was like wickedly expensive, but yeah, it was one season. Wasn't that bad, but yeah, he was in that show,
right?
And I've seen him in a couple of. I know he's done other things, but I can't think really on top of my head.
No, but he's kind of shied away from it, and I think that because Cobra Kai started getting so popular, I think they stopped at that point even trying to chase it.
Yeah.
And it's been, I mean, it came out in 2009.
I think 10.
10? Yeah. So
no, I might have been. No, 10. Yeah, 10.
10 it was. So that movie is now 12 years old.
Yeah.
I don't see them going back to it.
At this point, no. Although, but that begs the question, what the hell is this movie that they're doing?
Exactly. What is the movie? I mean, I really don't know. Does the chat have any ideas of what the movie could be? Because I have none.
Yeah, chat. Tell us what this new Karate Kid movie is.
Yeah, right. Maybe someone knows.
Is it the return of Hilary Swank?
I think she's going to show up in the next season.
She's like the one omission as of right now for people who have not come back. Because they've gotten back everybody important.
I mean, like we've seen
who was alive.
Everyone.
Who was alive?
Yeah, but even Morita's like felt.
Yeah,
like that's the whole thing. Is Pat Morita's character is just in the show, like basically as a ghost without being a ghost. You know, like that, and that's kind of the beauty of the show.
Yeah,
I've loved the way that Miyagi's kind of over presided it, if you will. I don't know. It's just always worked for me. I swear to God, if the show ever ends and we see like Force Ghost Miyagi,
I mean, we did kind of get the Force vision in this last episode or in this last season.
Oh no, you mean the upside down?
The upside, sequence? Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
that was so fucking weird.
That came out of nowhere, and I was like, "What is happening?" That was bizarre.
We were both like, "What is going on?"
I don't want to get into the reason of why for the people in the chat who haven't seen it, because I know at least it says Maxwell has not seen it because he didn't like the last season very much. Jonathan said it's his favorite season. Reef hasn't liked it.
5. I mean, 5 is right up there with 1 for me as far as best seasons of the show.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
It's up there. I think it's one of the best I've done so far.
I think that Netflix would be smart though to start considering doing weekly drops for things.
Yeah,
because
but I think they're considering it right now.
I think they are, and it's funny. I think they need it because I just recently rewatched Stranger Things 4 because I was watching it with my parents. They hadn't seen it, and I liked it so much more. Kind of breaking it up and watching it like that, and I mean, yeah, sure, I could do that, but the problem is for you and I being in the space, because I remember the day it dropped, you came over
and you slogged through the whole thing.
Yeah, and I was burned out.
And I didn't do that. I took my time. I did like 2-3 episodes a day for the first couple.
I was just trying to get ahead of the spoilers because the problem is, and I've already seen it. Like I'm an episode behind on Game of Thrones right now, and so are you. We haven't watched it yet. But everyone's already talking about it. So I already kind of have an idea of what the episode is doing. And it's like, that was what I was trying to avoid with Stranger Things. Because people have no chill about just tossing stuff on the internet. And look, I get it. That's kind of the world we live in. Everybody wants to be the first to react to things. They want to be able to put that stuff out there. It drives engagement and it drives clicks. I get it. Like, I'm not shaming anyone. But it's also a problem for guys like you and I who get close to the space,
but also
then we have lives,
but also guys who just like want to just watch the thing. Like,
yeah,
and don't want to get spoiled for it.
right. And like you and I have stuff that we do outside of this, so we want to like live. I don't want to have to sit down for an entire day to get through a thing.
It's also probably more beneficial because given the length of these episodes from the last season, I feel like the finale of Stranger Things is gonna be like 3 hours.
Oh my god, it probably is. To be honest with you,
We're getting like the Lawrence Arabia of Stranger Things for the final episode.
I mean, the last 2 are 4 hours themselves.
Yeah,
Like it's almost insane.
no, literally, yeah. Because I think like the penultimate's like 147. The last one's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be shocked.
But I have, because I watched it the first time, then I saw kind of bits and pieces because my family was watching it when I was home for the holidays.
Right.
And watching it more because like I did watch most of it with my mom, who she hadn't seen it. And watching it again multiple times, I feel like that's like the best episode of the show so far.
I think episode 4 is my favorite of the show.
4?
Yeah.
Of the 5th season?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh wait, sorry, I went back to Stranger Things.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Stranger Things.
Okay. Oh yeah, no, episode 4.
That's the one with the first running up the hill, right?
Yeah, that's the first running up the hill because you said of season 5, and I was like, no, of 4, and that's what
4. I'm sorry, of 4. I'm sorry.
That's what threw me because I was like, wait,
we're going to 5.
We're going to 5. Yeah, episode 4 is my favorite, I think, of the entire series because I think it also gave Sadie Sink so much to do, and she crushes it. And all that stuff with Vecna is really great, and the running up that hill sequence is really great. And of course, Kate Bush is now back on the map because of it. Like that, she made so much money from that needle drop.
Kate Bush is just like, you know what? Sure, whatever. Looked at bank account. Holy fuck.
Yeah. So I think that, and then I think I really like the penultimate episode too.
Penultimate's great, but I love the finale.
The finale's really great.
I think the finale's excellent.
Yeah. You could almost take the last 40 minutes of the finale and had made it a 10th episode basically as an epilogue.
Basically, yeah.
Because that's what it is. Like the last 40 minutes is basically an epilogue when everyone finally gets back to Hawkins.
Yeah.
But I digress.
The thing I did want to bring up though, the fact that we got some news about the Fabelmans, our most anticipated of the year for the rest of the year. Bit of Oscar news because Oscar season's heating up. The race is on. And we got word that Michelle Williams, who a lot of people speculate was going to be in the supporting category, is now going to be in lead.
I just don't understand this.
I don't either.
I do understand it, but I felt like she was a shoo-in to win if she went
for supporting. Yes, absolutely. Because lead actress this year is looking to be stacked once again. Because she's out of supporting, which means she's now has to compete with Cate Blanchett, Michelle Yeoh, Margot Robbie, Olivia Colman, Viola Davis, Ana de Armas, Danielle Deadweiler, and Naomi Ackie. Mm-hmm.
It's quite the thing.
Yeah, like that's a murderer's row of actresses.
Yeah.
So I feel like she would have gotten her due because Michelle is one of the best actresses working right now.
Yes, she is.
And I think she'll get one eventually. I think this would have been it. But now she's out. Now supporting actress is now wide open.
It's going to be very interesting to see how all this stuff plays out because it seems like some of the stuff feels so locked already. Like Ke-Huy Quan looks like he's going to run off with best supporting.
I mean, it looks like nomination win. I'm not sure. I'm not ready to call it yet. I hope he does, just because I think that'd be awesome. But
I'm like willing it into existence so hard. I want Ke-Huy Quan to win so bad.
I do too.
Because I want justice for Ke-Huy Quan, and I'm here for the
Ke-Huy Quanaissance.
Yeah, the Ke-Huy Quanaissance, as we have been calling it here. It's just, I love that guy, man.
Yeah,
I've loved him since Temple of Doom.
It's great. Keep that brother employed. But
yeah, well, thank you, Marvel.
Thank you, Marvel. Oh, thank you, Disney, because he's also in another Disney Plus show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The American-born Chinese.
Yep. He's just doing all the stuff these days.
Yeah,
I feel good for him.
I do too.
It's fucking awesome.
I mean, if the Crazy Rich Asians sequel ever happens, which we'll get to that in a second, but he should be in it.
Yeah.
But also, why is the sequel to that movie not happening? I know why, but why is that sequel not happened yet?
I don't know. I feel like, well, now there's also the Zaslav of it all, so maybe I don't know if that plays a part, but they should have followed that up so long ago, and I hate that John M. Chu, who I think is talented, is kind of holding it up because he wanted to direct it so bad, but then he's doing 2 Wicked movies instead.
Yeah.
Which they had just announced the Pharaoh casting.
The guy is. I'm not.
I've never seen it.
I'm never familiar with the guy.
Yeah, I'm not either. So
I mean, he looks fine. He's not my main area of concern for this movie right now.
No, mine either.
I have many concerns for the Wicked movie.
I do too. I'm worried. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm a little worried too.
Like, I want to love it because I like Wicked. We saw it together.
We did see it together.
It was super fun. We toured through town not too long ago.
I'm pretty sure I've seen Wicked more than I've seen any other Broadway show on stage.
I think I might have too, to be honest, because I've seen it at least
I've seen it 4 times. 5
times, I think, at this point. I've seen it a lot. I've seen Wicked a lot.
Yeah.
I like the music.
I do too.
I like the music a lot. All right. We've rambled for 40 minutes. I know why you guys are really here. I'm going to pop it up again just to make it a point, because I know that everyone's here for our top 12 Stephen King adaptations. And again, this was not really planned for his birthday, but it's now a birthday stream for Stephen King. So happy birthday to Stephen King. And of course, you guys, if you have not, or if you feel like it, we do have a Streamlabs. You can look down. The link is in the description below. Feel free to donate, and you can send us your list of your top 12 Stephen King films, because here's the thing about King. I like the dude a lot. I love his writing. There's some adaptations that are not very good.
There are a lot of adaptations that are not very good.
Yeah, but when the adaptations are good, they're really, really fucking good.
When he hits, he hits. When he misses, holy fuck.
I think it's safe to say that we are not going to have The Dark Tower on our list.
Dark Tower did not make my 12. I will spoil that right now.
Yeah, thank God. I worried. I worried a little bit, because I was like, imagine someone put Dark Tower.
Dark Tower.
I might actually like rage quit if you had it. I would have been like, nope, sorry.
We're done. Stream's over.
Stream's over.
Show's over.
The Dark Tower broke me. That movie's bad.
Yeah, the fact that we waited so long for a Dark Tower movie and that's what we got. I was so excited too, because we're Idris Elba, black dude doing heroic shit.
Matthew McConaughey. Everything about that should have been good. And we got a 90-minute.
90-minute like adaptation / sequel / reboot / prequels. Like what is this? What are we doing?
Meets an Amblin film.
Like
it straight up.
Wait, didn't Amblin do Dark Tower?
No,
they didn't. No, that was Ron Howard's company.
Yeah, it was. What is that? Imagine.
Yeah, like I thought it was fun where it's just like, everyone tried to take a crack at it. Like Ron Howard, Opie tried to bring it to the screen.
Well, because remember,
and he says like, I'm gonna do a movie and a television show. Now tell me to fuck off. Fuck off.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
What is worse, Dark Tower or The Last Airbender? For me, it's Dark Tower.
No, Last Airbender. Last Airbender is one of the most inept pieces of filmmaking I've ever seen. Sorry, one of the most inept adaptations I've ever seen.
That's how I feel about Dark Tower. But I'm also like, Dark Tower was a thing that I grew up on, and it holds a very, very specific.
Yeah, I have a much bigger attachment to Avatar: The Last Airbender than I do the Dark Tower, which is why The Last Airbender hurts me way more.
Right. Whereas, like, I really like Avatar, but I watched it after the fact, so I wasn't as tied to it.
Chat, let us know. Do you want to watch us? Do you want to watch us do a watch along to The Last Airbender, or both of them? Double feature.
We'll double feature it. That's actually we got stuff to talk about after this, actually, about that sort of stuff too. But all right, what we're gonna do is we both made our own separate top 12 lists.
We did.
We have not talked to each other. We have no idea. We can make assumptions, obviously.
I know a couple that will definitely make your list.
I think I know a couple that'll definitely make yours too. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna go through. We're gonna talk about our 12, and then we'll try to make a master list, and try to do our own ranking of it, and try our best to find the 12 best
figure this out
Stephen King adaptations.
Right.
And it's not easy. I'm going to be honest with you. And I think I'm going to make people mad with how low
I'm already mad at your list.
Why?
Before we even start, I'm already mad at your list.
Why are you mad at my list?
Because I know how your list is going to work.
How do you think my list is going to work?
Well, I'll tell you when we get there.
All right, great. Okay. So, I'm going to have you start, actually.
Okay. So, on my 12?
Uh-huh.
Number 12 is 1408.
Oh, I do have 1408.
Okay, so do you want to hold off on it?
Yeah, let's hold off on it. I have it a little bit higher.
All right, so my 11?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My 11's Green Mile.
Hey, that's my 11.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, all right.
I think there are a few directors who grasp King as well as Frank Darabont does.
I agree with you 100%.
And I think that this one, I feel like kind of flies under the radar as far as like Stephen King adaptations go, because like but it's also fantastic. I think this is one of his more emotional driven films. I think that I love the setting of the prison. I think Tom Hanks is fantastic. Michael Clarke Duncan giving a career defining performance. How the fuck he and everybody else in the category lost the Oscar that year is beyond me.
And it's one of the few times that we get Tom Hanks doing something supernatural that's like not a big thing for his career, but it's also like grounded supernatural.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I don't think we talk about when it comes to King's works. And I think you're going to kind of see it as we talk about it. Some of his best movies are the ones that are not based off of some of his more popular books.
Yeah.
They're more actually the ones that are a little more serious or like less what you would think of Stephen King.
Yeah.
And I think that's always really interesting. So that's why I've always loved it. And you like nailed it, especially the Clarke Duncan of it all. It's one of the all-time great performances.
Yeah, one of the better ones in a Stephen King movie. That's another thing we can do, like best performances in a Stephen King adaptation.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of them.
Yeah, there's plenty of them. But yeah, I think that Clarke Duncan's amazing. And the ending, if you're a crier in movies, the ending is definitely going to make you sob for like days, because the ending is just it's incredible, which is another reason I want to touch on it, because I think one of the big problems Stephen King has, like he can't end anything.
He's not well, and I don't think the adaptations have been any better at that.
Yeah, the adaptations like don't do well at ending things either. But I think this is one of the better endings to a Stephen King story, despite the fact that it does rip your heart out.
I mean, and you kind of, and it's a 3-hour movie, so it's
that's the only reason it's lower on my list, because like it is I think a little too long.
Yeah,
but I still think it's a great film.
It's so funny because I feel like we both have Shawshank, and Shawshank similarly is like on the longer side.
You don't know?
I think I know.
Yeah, you do. Shawshank is on my list.
Yeah. I was going to say
the superior Stephen King prison movie.
That's fine.
But yeah, I think Shawshank kind of, because that was the year before, actually.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was 5 years before.
5 years. Yeah.
I for some reason I was thinking Green Mile's 95. I don't know why.
No, it's much later.
It's 99.
Yeah, and then he does the Majestic like right after,
which is sure.
Because that's where I can see the confusion.
Yeah. But I think that we'll talk about it later. But I think Shawshank does a lot better than Green Mile does. But the Green Mile's still great.
Yeah. All right, so my number 12, since we both have the same 11, is Misery.
Hold off on that one because I got a little higher.
All right, cool. So that means my 11 was the Green Mile, so we'll go to your 10.
Number 10 is The Dead Zone.
I have that at 9, so might as well talk about it.
Okay, yeah. Dead Zone was one that I had seen like once way back when. I actually borrowed it from the shelf over here. I rewatched it recently.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I feel like this one is kind of, how do I explain this? It's a lot of King tropes before they were tropes, but also like it shows why they're great. You know, you have like the unexplained psychic, the paranoia. Walken's fantastic in the film.
Dude, him and Michael Sheen.
Yeah.
Or Martin Sheen.
Sorry. Michael Sheen.
Yeah, Martin Sheen. And the funny thing is Martin Sheen's character is fairly prophetic to stuff that we've been dealing with politically, it feels like, too. And that's part of the thing that I like about it. Cronenberg shoots the shit out of this movie,
he does.
Too. It's really unnerving, but it's also, Dead Zone's a pretty long book, and this is pretty condensed, and yet it works.
I think this movie's like under 2 hours.
It is. I think it's...
Yeah, it's only like an hour 43.
Yeah, but it works.
Yeah.
And it never feels like you're missing anything. And I think that the best part about The Dead Zone is the way that it slowly ratchets up the tension, because the last 30 minutes kind of feels like you're just on like a thin wire razor, just like hurtling towards whatever this ending's going to be. And it's so nerve-wracking. It's so well done.
Yeah. I think especially the way the whole thing, like what it builds to, the way it comes to a head, the fact that it keeps you in that state of, like sort of panic.
Right.
I think it's brilliantly done. And definitely a top 12 for me. I'm already pissed off at your list because you have Misery at 11. 11? Oh, sorry, at 10? 10?
Yeah, I know.
No, where do you have Misery?
I had it 12.
They had it Misery at 12?
I told you 12? Out of the gate that you were going to be mad.
I'm already mad. I'm already pissed off.
Yeah, well, at least I had it.
All right, fine. What's your 10?
My 10 is actually 1408.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, 1408. For me, what is very interesting is that I think a lot of the best Stephen King adaptations are actually the ones based on his short stories because they allow a film. They're a lot more condensed. He tends to end those better, but those also give filmmakers a chance to play with it more.
You're not as constrained as you would be with a full book.
Right. And this movie, it's I think arguably one of my favorite haunted house movies of the 2000s because we didn't get a lot of them, but this one in particular is really great. I can never remember how to say the director's name, unfortunately. It's like very German, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Mikhail Hafstrom.
Thank you. Yeah. He's super talented. And this movie has such an interesting feel. And John Cusack, while he was still trying and not like just churning out performances, I really like the Mike Enslin character, and I find him one of the most interesting and most sympathetic in a Stephen King work, in the film because he feels so damaged, and then to go through what he's going through in the like heightened sense of it being kind of a one man act, it's just really thrilling, and he's so fucking good in it. And that's what pushes it up for me because it's almost like a one man act. Like, sure, you see other things throughout. Like Sam Jackson's got the great cameo at the beginning and the end. Um, Tony Shalhoub plays his book agent in the movie. Like, you see people in the movie, but they're not really in it. It's really his film, and there's some great visuals in it. The way that the room is like coming to life and messing with his mind is so fucking cool. I love this movie. I revisit it a lot.
I think this is a great job putting you in the shoes of King as a writer.
Yeah.
Like this shows you like kind of the mentality he has. I think it captures his prose very well. And just like the descent into madness that you see portrayed right up there.
It's so good.
No, yeah, it's fantastic. And plus, like just the way it keeps you guessing. Like you don't know if you've been in here for minutes, days, years. You have no idea what's happening. Like the blending of reality, I think is really fascinating. I think there's so much about 1408 that works incredibly well.
Yeah,
and it's definitely the better of the. It's definitely the better John Cusack, Samuel Jackson, Stephen King movies.
Yeah, so we don't talk about. It's also, I think, the better of the writer's block type movies.
Yeah, well, Barton Fink's really great though.
What of the King ones?
Oh,
because there's also Secret Window.
Well, yeah, because Secret Window is also bad,
but that's my point. That's why I think this is of the two adaptations of, which is funny that John Turturro is in both. Is in both of them, actually. Now that I think about it, but I really dig this movie, and I go back to it a lot. That's why it's at my 10. Like, it just works for me, and it's under 2 hours, so it goes by like real quick.
Yeah,
and it's one of my favorite spooky season movies for sure. And Reefism, I also saw 1408 in theaters, and I agree. It was really great to see in theaters.
It was not. Well, I mean, no, it was not old enough to see in theaters. I was 9.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were pretty young when that came out. I feel like.
Yeah, I was 9 or 10, depending on when it came out.
Okay. So what? That was my number 10.
And so we.
And my 9 was The Dead Zone.
Yeah, so I go to my 9. My number 9 is Gerald's Game.
I actually do not have Gerald's Game because I have not seen it.
Really?
Yeah, I keep meaning to. It is one that I have missed.
That's insane to me because, like, you asked me, I think this is the best Mike Flanagan Stephen King adaptation. So yes, that is a spoiler that Dr. Sleep was not on my list. Yeah, I like Dr. Sleep, but I think Gerald's Game is just brilliant. Basically, So basically, in case you guys don't know, because it's a Netflix movie. It's a little smaller known. This is a movie about a couple who they're trying to spice up their sex life by using handcuffs. The husband handcuffs the wife. Bruce Greenwood handcuffs his wife, played by Carla Gugino, to the bed, but then he gets a heart attack and dies, and she's stuck there. That's the whole movie.
I did not know that was the whole movie.
Yeah, the whole movie is just her stuck to this goddamn bed. Okay. But from that, what develops from there is just a great look into a woman's psyche, because it's really interesting the way things unfold, like the way she visions alternate versions of herself, the way she visions people coming back to life, the way she looks back at her life, and makes you really question like how much can you scar somebody without physically doing anything to them,
right?
Because like emotional scarring is a big it's a big theme in this, as well as another King movie, which maybe I'll talk about later. But
that's a big King thing too.
It is a big King thing. But yeah, it's a lot of psychological stuff. It's a really fascinating story. It's a hard book to adapt, I will admit, but I think Flanagan does an incredible job with this one.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, Flanagan, great director. I think of the King movies he has done and what can probably continue to do, this is my favorite one he's done.
I love that.
If you haven't seen Gerald's Game, I would highly recommend watching it.
I think I'm gonna add it to the list for the spooky season this year to finally get to it. I kept meaning to. It was just one of those. It kind of kept happening, and like I don't know why. It just kept falling by the wayside. But I tend to hit the Flanagan stuff as much as I love him. I always go back to it later after like hype has died down. Like I almost always wait for a year after the shows to finally watch them too. That way I can just like take them in without whatever hyperbole has been happening around them. He's so fucking talented though.
He is.
He really is. And you know, Bruce Greenwood is a regular for him, which it's cool that he's in the movie too. I'm really excited for the new one that he's doing where he took over the lead.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. The one, Fall of House of Usher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fall of House Usher, I think. Yeah. Cool. So that was your number 8.
That was my 9. So we do good. And we got you to go to my 8.
Yeah. Go to your 8.
My number 8 is It Chapter 1, I should say.
I have it higher.
Okay. So moving on.
All right. So my number 8 is The Mist.
I had feelings to be on your list.
Yeah. Not on yours?
No.
Okay.
I like The Mist, but no.
Yeah. This is another one for me that, again, taking one of his like shorter stories and turning it into something really terrifying. And Frank Darabont just kind of gets King. He gets the world. And I love Thomas Jane getting a chance to be in the lead. But I also think that this movie over time has become more interesting to watch with the psychological nature of the stuff that you have with Marisha Gay Harden as the crazy religious woman who they're all stuck in the store with, because that's kind of become, unfortunately, the climate of our country. And so there's a lot of King's adaptations have little moments like that. And so a lot of his books in general that seem a little prophetic to stuff we deal with. And that's kind of a very interesting one. And it's like, would you rather be in the store with human monsters, or would you rather be out in the mist with real monsters? And what's worse? And I think that that's a really, really fascinating. And King has gone on record saying he did not know how to end the story really, and he actually prefers Darabont's ending, as bleak as it is. And I agree with that. I think the ending is so like starkly.
Not gonna lie, I laughed at the ending the first time I saw it.
I remember being in the theater with people and so many people being angry. And I was like, well, I mean, I didn't really know where else it was going to go. Like, it kind of made sense in a way. And it's fucking dark and it's brutal, but it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, The Mist is my number 8.
Okay, so my number 7 is what I think is his most overlooked film.
Okay.
It's Dolores Claiborne.
Oh, I don't have it.
Yeah. So Dolores Claiborne is a story about a woman who goes back to her hometown after being away for a long time to help her mother, who's been accused of murder for the second time. And this I think this is very similar thematically to Gerald's Game, where she's going back and looking to her memories, seeing how she perceived things one way turned out to be something else. And it's really all about, what the people and the things that make you who you are, and whether you punish or forgive them for doing that.
Right.
This is a very, I think what King, some of the better adaptations are the ones that are actually like not like heightened horror. They're more like the quiet, intimate character dramas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a really great example of this. Kathy Bates and Jennifer Jason Leigh are fantastic in this film, and it really makes you, as the character is going through and questioning everything she's known, you're kind of questioning it too. You really don't know how much of what you're looking at is how much you can take at face value.
Yeah, like how much of it is real, how much, because there's very like an unreliable feel to it. So I really like this movie.
Yeah, this movie's really, great. Really like I said, my opinion, I think this is his most overlooked film.
This is the director is the guy who did Ray, right?
Taylor Hackford. Yeah. Taylor Hackford again, also underrated director.
Yeah. I really like Taylor Hackford. Remember when he made a Jason Statham, Jennifer Lopez movie?
Did he? He did
Parker.
Fucking Parker.
Yeah, he made Parker. Of all the things
in the world, you can direct fucking Parker. Okay, cool.
I like Taylor Hackford though.
I do too.
Super talented.
He's good.
Yeah, but I really like this movie. It's been a little bit since I revisited it. I think it recently was getting released on 4K, so I think I'm going to pick it up.
Yeah,
because I really like it. This is a good choice. It's a good choice, man. I like it. All right, so that was your number 7.
Mm-hmm.
My number 7 is Christine. What?
7?
Yeah.
7?
Yeah.
7.
I love this movie.
Christine's good, but 7?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Because Christine fucking rules. It does. Christine fucking rules. Don't give me that look.
Explain.
I really love Christine because I think this is one of the times that we kind of get into the more monster-esque stuff that he was doing, but with a car. And I've always thought that was really fascinating. And I love John Carpenter, and I love the way he brings it to life.
Misery, fuck that shit. Christine, killer car.
Killer car. I mean, it's very me. Great soundtrack to boot. But I just really think that it comes down to, I get so impressed with the filmmaking behind the movie and the way it comes together. I've always just kind of been enamored with the fact that Carpenter managed to make a movie about a killer car, but it's also like you're kind of sympathetic towards the lead once he starts to realize it, but then it turns out he's also like a total fucking douchebag. And then you're just like, wait, what is happening?
Am I rooting for the car?
Yeah, and I kind of find that interesting. And there's something about it, man. The soundtrack is, the score is great. It's a score I actually go back to a lot, and I listen to it a lot. It's got a very heavy synth pop vibe that's just always kind of worked for me. It's just, there's something about this one, man. It just, every time I go back to it, it just hits. Yeah, I had it at 7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, look, it's my list. You don't have to like it.
It's the wrong list. That's what we're going on right now.
Oh, please. Christina's great.
All right, but 7.
Yeah.
If you had this at 12. If you had this at 12, if you had this in Misery swapped, I wouldn't be as salty. But 7.
Look, man. Again, thinking about it, you have Harry Dean Stanton in this movie. Like, there's so
Christine maybe has like the dumbest movie kill I've ever seen in my life.
Which one?
It's the one where like Christine corners that guy in an alley, and it's just like slowly driving at him. Like, dude, there's a fucking car. Just go and fucking climb over it.
I love it. It makes me happy every time. It's the best. I love this movie. Yes, I'm going for the killer car movie, no matter what Chance says.
My number 6 is one I'm confident you have higher. Creepshow.
I actually have it at 5, so
okay, fair enough.
We can talk about it.
Creepshow is, I think, the product of a lot of people who were just not told no.
It's what I love about it.
If you said George Miller wanted to include it's not George Miller, George Romero, like he said, like I want to put cartoons in my horror movie. Okay. I want to have random colorful backgrounds that show up with no context or no semblance of no reason. Sure. I want to have Stephen King make the audiences laugh and Leslie Nielsen playing an intimidating villain. Okay. These are so many crazy, weird choices, but somehow they all work.
They work really well, and it's the fact that they really try to lean in on like the Creepshow magazine vibe that has always made it stand out. I think it's one of the most interesting horror anthologies because every story is so different, and yet the way that we go into it is so well done. And I've always thought that of all the movies to have like the bookend type stuff, I've always liked those. Having it being this kid who's kind of being pushed around by his dad, who does, dad doesn't think he's good enough and all this shit and just kind of pushing him around because he's a nerd. Like, I always loved that. I thought it was such a cool conceit for him to be the one that's kind of our unreliable narrator, if you will, and having the creeper taking him through. And then, of course, it all wraps around. But it always worked for me. Again, you just pointed out like some of the cast. You have Ted Danson in it, Leslie Nielsen,
E.G. Marshall.
Yep, E.G. Marshall, Stephen King, Ed Harris for PLD. Yeah, there you go, PLD. An Ed Harris movie made the list. You're welcome. I I think every one of the shorts is really cool and really interesting. They're all very different. The last one in particular is like such a crazy mental mind fuck.
Yeah.
And it's always stayed with me. It's very fucking eerie, and the way it ends is like almost repulsively shocking, in like such a cool way. This movie, I go back to it a lot. I think it spawned a decent sequel, but it has spawned a better TV show too, to boot. That's on Shutter now. Um, but I love that Romero directed the whole thing.
Yeah.
I love that he and King worked so close together doing it, and it kind of feels like the two of them just really got along, and they were like, "Screw it, we're gonna do the thing," and they did. Like, to your point, Creepshow 2, Romero doesn't direct it. King is like kind of involved, but not as much. And I really like Creepshow 2, but like you can feel that they did not give them everything they wanted, like they did with the first one.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why the first one always stands out to me, because it feels like they really went all in on doing the thing that they wanted, and no one told them no. They just said, "All right, make your movie,"
Mm-hmm.
and it shows.
Yeah,
this movie fucking rocks.
Yeah, it does.
I love it. Oh, it's so good. All right, so that was your number 6.
Yeah,
my number 6 is Stand By Me.
I got that a bit higher.
Okay, cool. We can wait then. So, what is your number 5?
Number 5 is Misery.
Okay, no, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so Rob Reiner is a guy who I think, like I said, Enemy's a little higher on my list, but I think Rob Reiner is another guy who just really managed to get Stephen King really well. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I actually watched it again recently, a few nights ago, and few takeaways. One, Kathy Bates is fucking excellent.
She's incredible in this movie. She's amazing.
Like, arguably the best performance that anybody has ever given in a Stephen King adaptation.
I think there's an argument.
She's certainly up there. She's definitely like top 3 to 5.
Yeah.
But also like James Caan, who has to kind of match that, and just be as in, have to go toe to toe with that and be as in the scene. I think it's also just as impressive. I think that the confinement horror in this one, I think, is done better. I mean, it's done really well in Gerald's Game. I think it's done slightly better here, just because you have someone who is clearly unhinged,
right?
And you are completely at their mercy, and you have no way of escaping.
Yeah, I think when you talk about Bates in the role, like the way she plays it is so sympathetic almost, but also you're like, you want to sympathize with her.
You do,
because she's clearly not well, and there's moments of like humanity.
Yeah.
But then she goes off these deep ends and is a total fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
But it works. It's really, really well done. And her and Khan are just like a really wonderful duo, because again, this is another one where there's no one else really in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really left to have to act off each other in such a specific way. And Khan is kind of playing against type. Like,
yeah, he's usually like the tough guy, but now he's at the place where like he's at somebody else's mercy. We never really see Khan like that.
Right. And I love that about the movie, because it kind of paints him in
one of my favorite scenes in the film is it had nothing to do with like, because people point about like the hobbling scene, or the scene where like they first find out like Misery Chastain died. One of my favorite scenes that he has is the scene where she makes him burn the book he'd just written.
Yeah.
And it was his only copy. He'd spent like weeks working on it, and it's just gone. Like that. I think that's just a devastating scene. And Khan, and the way just Khan is like so understated, but you can tell like he's just like broken at that point.
Right.
It's an incredible scene.
It really is, and it's an incredible performance. And Bates won for this movie.
She did.
Well
deserved.
Well deserved. It's an incredible performance, and I think you're right. Rob Reiner's really good, man. He really got the heart of the characters when he would do Stephen King stuff. I believe we'll be talking about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, but like, it's always stood out, and it's always worked for me. It's a really good movie. I just don't revisit it as often as some of the others, because there's also a part of it that is a tough watch for me.
The hobbling.
Yeah, the hobbling.
The hobbling. No matter how many times I watch that movie, the hobbling still just like makes my skin crawl.
It's hard to watch, but I love it. It's so good. All right, so that was your number 5. My number 5 was Creepshow, so we go to your number 4.
My number 4 is Stand By Me.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about it.
I mean, first of all, you want to talk about like Rob Reiner. You want to talk about like a fucking run for a director. Rob Reiner did This Is Spinal Tap, The Sure Thing, Stand By Me, Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, and A Few Good Men, all back to back.
It's one of the greatest runs.
It's one of the greatest runs by any director. You fell off a fucking cliff afterwards, but
hey, I mean, but to have that as your
like, I arrived, and he had some good ones after that. You know, like The American Presidents, Ghost of Mississippi, but yeah, like he had incredible run to start his career.
Yeah,
but yeah, Stand By Me, I think is like one of the quintessential coming of age movies, just period. Not just of Stephen King. But first of all, you have like an incredible cast of young actors. I mean,
you have River Phoenix,
who's phenomenal. Like every time I watch this movie, I'm so saddened by the fact that how soon we lost River Phoenix.
Yeah, he's great in this.
Will Wheaton's great.
Corey Feldman gives probably his best performance as a younger kid.
Potentially, yeah.
Jerry
O'Connell,
who is
unrecognizable.
Yeah,
considering like now we know Jack Jerry O'Connell, like the Jack I'm Married to Rebecca Romaine Jerry O'Connell.
Right. It's not this one.
Not this one. Kiefer Sutherland's in it. John Cusack's in it. I was
gonna say Cusack and Sutherland, who are the adults or the older teen types. Like we don't see a ton of adults in the movie, but they're the older kids, and it's fun because again, Cusack would eventually come back and do like 1408.
Yeah,
but it's very early on, and that's when Cusack is like in his heyday, getting towards like Say Anything. Kiefer obviously going towards Lost Boys and becoming better known eventually as he would start doing like 24. But it's cool in the having those people, and then why did I just blank on who's the narrator?
Oh, Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah, and Richard Dreyfuss, who's really good in this. His narration's perfect.
No, yeah, he's excellent. But I think that what this movie does really well, it just again, like kind of talked about some other films, it's the quiet drama. It's these kids working out the separate issues they have, and the idea of being there for somebody because nobody else is.
And the train sequence is so great. It's one of the most thrilling sequences put in a movie. It's so because it's tense.
Yeah,
it's really well done. But you're right. It's the character study that is as interesting.
Exactly.
And that's the thing with your list in particular, which I like about your list. You and I come from things a little differently sometimes when it comes to this stuff. But like, I always like that you go for the human drama. And that's why having this where it is, it makes sense because that is what this movie is.
That's what this is. And again, like these kids just feel so naturalistic and they're all like, they work so well off each other.
Yeah.
And you want them to get to where they're going. By the end, you want them to be okay.
Yeah. And I think that's what's so fucking awesome is watching it. Because a good coming of age movie, that should make you feel that way.
Yeah.
And this one definitely does.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that was your number
4.
My number 4 is It, but it's chapters 1 and 2 because I can't really separate them.
I can definitely separate them.
I cannot because they are clearly like if they had been different directors and hadn't been planned the way they were, but they're very clearly one movie to me. So to me, yes, I am cheating, but it is It chapters 1 and 2.
That's fair. I mean, I didn't include chapter 2 because I think chapter 2 kind of sucks, but
no, I know I'm unpopular opinion on that, and that's okay. But
I liked it when I first saw it, but at subsequent views, like, no, this is not very good.
I really like it. And here's my
they did my boy Isaiah Mustafa dirty.
I actually like him in it.
Yeah, he's not bad, but like he's like the problem is they keep shafting his character. They keep having everybody else go do stuff while he's back at the library.
All right. I mean, look, here's what I'll say. It chapter 1 is the better movie. I have more fun watching It chapter 2 because that's the one that goes like full fucking bonkers Stephen King to a very interesting degree. But I think the thing for me is these movies, they work in tandem and they are clearly made as one vision. And so that's why I can't separate them. It's like Deathly Hallows 1 and 2 for me. Like I can only see them as one.
See, movie. I can definitely separate those two because I saw credits after both films.
You do you. I tend to look at it as one story, and I was really happy that Muschietti decided to take a swing and try to adapt it that way. It's in the same way.
I think it was the right choice to split it up into 2 parts. I just think the second part falls incredibly flat. But I think
that's also the book.
It is also the book, so I can't like fully fault him for it. The thing I will talk about is chapter 2 real quick though is I feel like it kind of plays itself in a lot of places, mainly because like a big thing with Jim McAvoy what the fuck was his name? Bill?
Yeah,
Bill. He's a famous author, and in the movie they keep telling him his books suck because his endings are cliched and lame, while they keep giving us scenes that are cliched and lame.
It works for me.
But I will say, I don't want to spend this whole time like just shitting on chapter 2. I want to talk about chapter 1, the movie that I really do like.
Right.
I think this movie, from the first trailer, I was into it, and I think that this, it does kind of feel like Stand By Me with a Clown. Despite the fact
I was gonna say it's 100% like Stand By Me with a Clown.
I think it does fall into a lot of traps of Stephen King movies, like they have the one-dimensional bullies, stuff like that. But I think when it's hitting, it hits hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think all the kids are fantastic. Bill Skarsgård
is a revelation.
He had incredible shoes to fill. Cause I love Tim Curry.
Yep.
He is a gift from God.
Yeah.
And I do love him. I don't love the series, but I do love Miss Pennywise. That man is a gift. And I think that he is able to step in and just craft like
it's a very different Pennywise.
It's a very different Pennywise. It's a more psychopathic.
So much,
it's a more psychopathic Pennywise.
And it always worked for me.
And I think there's some like masterful setup scares in that first It movie.
I think the second one does too.
And you also have a good clown trouncing. I love just watching a good clown trouncing.
I love
I love seeing when they just go in the sewers and they just find Pennywise and they just beat the ever living shit out of him.
I think both these movies are incredibly cast as well, across the board. Like, I think you couldn't have asked for a better younger cast, and then to find a almost as perfect adult casting of where I could totally see these kids growing up to be them.
Yeah,
like it was really, that's really remarkable.
I saw a criticism for Jay Ryan as Ben. I don't understand that one. He looks a lot like Jimmy Ray Taylor, whoever played the younger version of the chubby kid.
Yeah. I loved the idea of
it was Jeremy Ray Taylor.
I love the idea of when people wanted it to be Jerry O'Connell, because it would have been like,
it would have been great.
Just because
I did want it to be someone who did used to be chubby.
That's why I wanted it so badly to be Jerry O'Connell, and
like Jerry O'Connell, Chris Pratt, like something along those lines.
Yeah, but I really love It Chapter 1. I think it's such a great adaptation of that first part of the book with the kids. Yeah. The second one, similarly, is a pretty good adaptation of the second half. The problem is the second half is kind of a mess, but in that, I like that it actually goes the full route to be like, we're going to go into like the weird, bizarre nature of a lot of it, and to allow itself to kind of succumb to some of Stephen King's, let's just say, lesser sides of himself, and going like the weird cosmic angles, and having that put into the movie is really fantastic. I love the diner sequence when they all go and have dinner for the first time. I thought that they really brought that's the scariest moment in the movie for me. Like,
I just love the bit where he's just beating the shit on that table.
Yeah, like but there's something about it. The way it was done is really, really great.
Yeah, fucking open fortune cookies, Marilyn Manson's wind-up toys.
Yeah, I don't know, man. To me, it is like the quintessential Stephen King book, and I think that's why the miniseries always scared me as a kid. I thought it was a decent enough adaptation that was anchored by a great performance by Tim Curry. These felt like the closer to real adaptation that I would have liked, and it made the necessary concessions.
Although after all this talk, I do kind of want to watch it chapter 2 right now.
Right?
Despite the fact that it's fucking miserably long.
It's really long. That it is. And that makes watching them back to back harder. But at the same time, like, it's a really interesting way to do it. And I love that they even put more stuff in with the kids. That way the kids could come back in some capacity. The sequences involving their past and the flashbacks and kind of building off of these characters as it went really works for me. These movies are great. They really are.
One of them.
I love both of them. I really do. I love both of them, and they just work in tandem for me.
I just realized you have 2 above Misery on your list.
I do. I'm sorry. I love the thing that I love, man.
And Christine, no.
I said what I said, and I get to see a giant Paul Bunyan like log man come to life, and it's fucking dope.
Oh my god, that was like it chapter you the line between showing that they're actually scary and showing you some of the dumbest imagery I've ever seen in my life.
How dare you?
It is.
Yeah, well, you know what? Agree to disagree.
Or agree to agree with me.
Nope, that's not happening. I love these movies.
Hey.
There we are.
And so this is that was your 4?
That is my 4.
Okay, so my 3. My 3 is the OG Stephen King adaptation, Carrie.
Not on my list.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's surprising to me.
I really like it, but I don't go back to it very often.
But Christine, though.
Yeah, Christine.
Christine in chapter 2, though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. This is a great movie. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But I don't go back to it that frequently.
That's fucking okay. Fine. But Carrie is the classic story of, hey, don't pick on the weirdo.
Yeah.
A lesson I did not learn when I was in high school. But that's neither here nor there. Point is,
yeah, we've learned that because you still pick on me.
That's true. I pick on everybody.
Yeah, but specifically me.
Specifically you. Well, you know what? Don't put Christine over Carrie on Misery on your list. Then I won't pick on you. Point is, I think Carrie has cemented itself in not just Stephen King but cinematic history. I feel like, you have like the story of like this girl who like you so want things to go right for her.
Yeah.
But
you feel for her.
You feel for her. You want to catch a break, and that's a lot of due to Sissy Spacek's performance.
She's so good.
She is fucking excellent in this film.
Brian De Palma really did something great with this movie.
Yeah.
And again, to your point, it was the first Stephen King adaptation. Like, it matters.
Yeah. So, but like, yeah, when you get to that prom sequence, and then the pig's blood happens, that the whole sequence after that is just iconic at this point. Like the use of split screen, which wasn't really done a lot in movies, I used to an incredible effect here, and just the way things just end up going from there. It's a wild ride. You have some incredible imagery. Piper Laurie is also fantastic in this film.
John Travolta's good in it.
Travolta's good in it. I think it might have been his film debut.
I think it might be, or it's very
close.
And it's the first time he works with De Palma. I know that because they worked together a couple of times after.
Yeah, and you also have the ending, which is one of the that's the ending is a thing that's just like it's a very haunting thing to look. I'm not gonna spoil it for those who haven't seen it, but this movie is incredible. It was the first King adaptation, and it's definitely still one of the best.
Yeah, it's really great. Like I said, it's more that I just don't go back to it is the only reason it didn't make my list.
Yeah.
Because it's an intense watch too.
It is.
And so that makes it a little less rewatchable for me. But it's not in a detrimental sort of way. It's just really, really incredible. So it doesn't make my top 12 only for that. Still a fucking good movie, man.
Yeah.
Really good movie. All right. You're probably gonna be like at 3 on this one.
I already am.
The Shining.
Actually, I'm not upset at this one.
Okay, cool. Is The Shining on yours?
Yeah, I have it at 2 actually.
Okay, great. So we'll just talk about it because that's where we're at. Yeah, man. Look, it's funny that I have this one so high because it's actually arguably not a great adaptation.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because I guess it's the one that Stephen King famously hates, and honestly, I see why.
Yes.
Because if you look at the source material and you look at what Kubrick did, because the book is very about Jack's descent into madness, kind of like a la 1408.
Right.
But I think what Kubrick did was take it in a different direction. For me, for example, I always saw this as a parallel for alcoholism. Where your inhibitions are stripped away.
It definitely does.
Yeah, your inhibitions are stripped away and left for who you truly are. A big point of it is Jack was always this way, but that's kind of the point. Jack was always this person. It took the hotel to bring that out.
Right.
I think Nicholson's excellent. I don't hate Shelley Duvall, which is impressive.
No, I really like her in this movie.
Actually. Yeah, she's really good, but she's an actress I usually just don't jive with.
No, that's fair.
I love seeing Scatman Crothers in this movie. I think you have one of the great kid performances in any film. What was it? It's not Jake Lloyd. It's something Lloyd. Danny Lloyd.
Yeah, Danny Lloyd.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But also, I'm a big Kubrick guy.
Yeah.
I think he has a great sense of. It's almost like an alien sort of thing because it's a very cold feeling film.
And this needs to be.
And it does, yes.
That's the thing. Because I'm actually not the biggest Kubrick fan. It's a thing you and I go back and forth on a little bit, and not in like it's because his movies feel so cold that they leave me alienated. In particular, this movie should make me feel alienated. I should feel cold. I should feel outside of it. I should feel stuck. I should feel unwelcome. Like, that's the feeling of this movie, because The Overlook should make you feel like that.
Yeah.
And that's why it's always worked for me. And to your, like, yeah, I know that King didn't necessarily love the movie, and I know he didn't like a lot of the big changes, but the big changes are the things that make the movie memorable for me.
Yeah. I do think that, I also think that it's interesting just how many different ways this can be interpreted. Like, there's an entire documentary just trying to interpret this movie.
Right. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love it so much. And just The Shining has some of the all-time great moments in a movie. I mean, thinking about the little girls, like, that imagery is so sound. I mean, look, have you watched the new Cars cartoon on Disney Plus?
I didn't know it was out. No.
Yeah. It came out last week on Disney Plus Day.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I should.
So I think it's the second episode has this one where they go into a haunted house. And in that house, lightning goes down a hallway, and there's two ghost cars, and the camera goes up, and it looks exactly like The Shining's rugs.
I need to watch this.
Yeah, like they basically are doing The Shining in some capacity in it.
For kids.
Yeah. It's kind of hysterical, actually.
Yeah.
But that goes to show you how much of an impact this movie has had. Because here we are 40 years later, and people are still parodying it.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Nicholson gives an all-time performance in it.
Yes.
And
I love watching that man go crazy.
Yeah, like, I know that was one of the things King didn't like.
Yeah.
Because he was like, we already know Nicholson's crazy, like, we've seen it. So he didn't love that the audience would already know, but I think it actually makes the movie better because you're just waiting for him to break.
Yeah. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
It's a great performance. Him wandering around the halls with the axe is great, and it works, and there's a reason we still talk about it. Here's Johnny.
I remember for the longest time I was so confused by the "Here's Johnny" thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why is he saying that? His name is Jack. Oh, Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love it. It's just a good movie, man. One of the all-time great horror films.
Yeah, I don't hate this at 3, depending on what you have above it. Because
you'll see.
Oh boy,
you'll see. I think you'll understand once I get on my.
I have a feeling I know what both are too.
You probably do.
Okay.
You probably do,
Yeah.
and I don't think I don't think either of them are egregious. So,
Well, one kind of.
No. I'll explain. So that was your number 2, right?
Yeah.
So my number 2 is The Shawshank Redemption.
I feel like I know what your number 1 is, but yeah, okay. Shawshank is my number 1.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Okay, yeah, I called this actually when we decided this is what we were doing. I was like, Shawshank is definitely going to be your number 1, right? And you were like, maybe, and I was like, probably, yeah, okay. I know you a little bit.
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption. All right, let's talk about
it. Yeah. So this one, this is held in such reverence among not just King fans but just film fans in general.
Considered one of the all-time great movies,
and it is one of the all-time greats.
I agree.
And again, this is another King movie that has nothing to do with anything scary, nothing to do with anything supernatural. You're just following this guy who maybe killed. I think I would have liked a little more if it was in the movie. Like, I would have liked a little more ambiguity. If they had to make one change, it would have had an ambiguity for Fran's character. Like, you have to decide whether or not he actually killed his wife.
Yeah.
But I do think that this is an incredible powerhouse drama about, being stuck in a situation where you don't belong in, but you're trying to get through it. The power of hope, the power of, again, actual redemption. Morgan Freeman's incredible in this film. Tim Robbins is incredible in this film. The entire cast, top to bottom, is fantastic. Nobody. There's
William Sadler's
really good in the movie. I really like the guy who plays the warden.
Sadler's in Green Mile also.
He is. That's right. Yeah.
I actually think he and Darabont worked really well together because he's also in The Mist.
That's right. He is.
I think he might be a regular. I don't remember if he's in The Majestic, but
I can't remember either.
But he's definitely in all 3 of the King adaptations.
Yeah, but I think that, again, you have this like really great Amber characters in prison. You have some really powerful, emotionally driven moments, and again, like just the And is it a spoiler? I mean, I think people know, but like the scene where like he gets out, and you had that pan shot with the lightning and the rain, like that shot is just
I mean, it was
phenomenal.
the teaser poster.
That's right, it was.
Like it was it's a great shot. It's a great moment. Tim Robbins is incredible.
Tim Robbins is fantastic
because Robbins is an interesting guy. He's almost a character actor.
Yeah,
but he was a character actor who kind of was leading movies, but not always really. This is the one time where he just shines, man.
You also have like one of the most best narrator jobs in movies.
Oh yeah,
100%. I think Freeman's narration in this is incredible.
I actually think that this is like the reason we so still talk about how when we want people to narrate our lives and we talk about Freeman, like I feel like it comes from this.
Yeah. Is this March of the Penguins?
Yeah, pretty much. And I love this movie, man. Like I watch this movie so frequently. It's so beautiful. The way it's shot is amazing. Like the fact that they did all of it in like an actual prison makes it really feel much more real than it should. But Clancy Brown also,
he's really good.
He's really great in it. Like you get so many great performances and there's so many iconic things. And I always just think about kind of like the back half of the movie when you have this character that you've been hanging out with the whole time, and he's like this older guy,
Brooks. Like his whole thing. I was thinking this says a lot about the dangers of institutionalism.
Yeah, because they don't know how to work.
Yeah, because like and the treatment of cons once they get out, where they're just like treated like they don't matter.
Right, and it's such especially. I'm going to say it this way is that part of the reason that I love that so much in this is that so frequently, unfortunately, people only look at it as marginalized communities. And I feel like it's such a powerful thing to be like, this isn't this older white guy who was in there for so long.
He was in like for like 50 years.
And he gets out and even they're looking down on him. And I think it's a thing that I think more people need to take.
Yeah, you find a bizarre level of humanity in this film, despite the fact that most of these guys are criminals.
Right. And I think that's why I like it, because the movie is forcing people to go, they're human.
Yeah.
Like that matters. They're human. And that's such an interesting thing to me that we overlook that a lot, I feel like.
Yeah, this movie is absolutely incredible. I think this is, I mean, it's already a classic. It's a modern classic, but it's going to be regarded as a regular classic in like a couple decades from now.
And it already is for a lot of people.
Yeah, and we're going to look back and see how the fuck did we let Forrest Gump beat this?
Yeah, I'm never...
And everything in that year.
Like, and don't get me wrong, like, I like Forrest Gump. It's a good movie. But I'll never understand how it beat this.
How it beat this Pulp Fiction and Quiz Show in the same year.
I don't know. I'm never gonna understand it. I love this movie. I could watch it forever.
Yeah,
it's just that good. I get very misty eyed towards the end. Like the ending's so great.
Yeah,
like and it feels earned.
It does. No, absolutely.
Like everything, the whole third act, as everything starts to really go the way that you realize it's gonna go, and you're like, oh shit, this is really, really great. And for them to kind of come out the way they do, it's just God, it's so fucking good, dude.
It's excellent.
Freeman, when he goes up against the parole board for the last time,
that scene is fucking fantastic.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah,
I love it. All right, so that was my number 2. It was your number 1. My number 1 is Dr. Sleep.
I fucking knew it.
I look, and here's part of why. You go back.
I swear to God, if you say what I think you're gonna say, I swear to God.
About the fact that I love that it made King love The Shining.
No, not that. Look, there's certain thing you say regarding this film that I'm waiting for you to bring up. But continue. Don't need to diatribe.
I think that there's something about the way that Mike Flanagan took stuff that was basically the original ending of The Shining, with burning down the hotel and like a bunch of the stuff King didn't gel with, trying to find a way to take Dr. Sleep, the book that King basically wrote as a fuck you to The Shining, as like a movie, and found a way to marry both of them into this idea that he was like, I can make a legacy sequel. I can make it an adaptation of the book while actually being a sequel to the Kubrick movie, but then take the end and do it the way that I think King wants it, and finding a way to marry all those ideas together. It's fascinating to me. And I watch this movie so frequently, the director's cut in particular. It's so human. And for being a 3-hour movie, it goes by so fucking fast for me every time I watch it. I think that there's some really haunting imagery, especially when you start seeing Danny when he's fucked up at the beginning, and he's kind of like, that woman dies and her baby dies, and some of the imagery with that. I love the trauma because, talk about he has real trauma coming off The Shining, and the way we explore that is super interesting. I love the stuff with young Danny at points in the movie. I like that we kind of spend time with that version of the character outside of what had happened. And then when you start to see all the things with Doc and like how Doc is kind of living with him still, and you start to realize that the stuff from the hotel had kind of followed him home, and how that damages him and all the things that it does to him. And so there's something really fascinating about that. And then to have this backdrop where there's this cult that's going around killing children, and so that they can keep living and keep just being the thing they are. And to have that as a backdrop of like Danny had gone through so much shit, and now he's going up against this cult who are basically taking the lives of children, which was a thing that he watched happen to himself. And there's something really interesting about that. Jacob Tremblay's cameo is great. That whole scene with him is one of the most intense scenes in the King movie. Rebecca Ferguson's incredible as Rose the Hat. This movie's got a great cast. McGregor's fantastic. And to see him doing something, it kind of reminds me of his character from Trainspotting. Like, you can see him pulling from some of the, especially from Trainspotting to T2, like the damage that character would have lived in his life, but taking that over 40 years and like putting that on Danny and what happened in the Overlook. Dude, I fucking love this movie. It just so fucking good. Yeah. That's why it's my number one, because I think it made a case for itself.
I think this is a great. I think this feels like Flanagan trying to get goodwill from Stephen King because he wanted to do some other of his stuff.
Probably, but I think he also, because remember, he wanted to do a movie about Doc also.
No, that's not his fucking name.
Oh, not Doc.
He calls him Doc.
Yeah, he calls him Doc.
That's Danny's nickname. Is like, what the fuck is his name?
I
know what you're talking about. Yeah. Is it Crooks? No, it's not Crooks.
No, it's not Crooks. You mixed it up a little bit with Brooks.
Yeah. Fuck. What is his name?
Why am I blanking?
Somebody help us.
It's the moment when you're on a stream and then you realize you're like, wait,
Dick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's still good.
Yeah.
And the performances are great. That's the other thing, is for a lot of these people to take up like iconic performances, right? Scatman Crothers, Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, and having to find a way to like tie those in and have people emulate that but still give their own performances is really fascinating.
I've still never actually seen the director's cut. I need to get on that at some point.
It's really good. We have it.
I know, yeah, and I have it on digital too, but I am pro physical media. I just got the digital copy from my aunt.
Well, so. It's not on physical.
Oh, it's right. It's only digital.
It's only digital.
That's
like
right.
That was the kind of bullshit of them putting it out that way. They were like, we'll put it out. It'll only be it's only digital though, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I've been fascinated. I just haven't been like truly possessed to go and try and see that.
Saul said the sappy, life-affirming movie always beats the challenging work at the Oscars when it comes to Best Picture. That's why it's true that it's an honor to just be nominated. That's fair. I mean, he's not wrong.
Usually, that is the case.
Yeah.
However,
I mean, I feel like Shawshank is also like the sappy life.
It kind of is, honestly.
Like at the same time, in a different way, but it is.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, actually. Now that I think about it, curious. He's not wrong though. He's not wrong.
No, he's not.
But yeah, man, I think that's why I like Dr. Sleep so much, because I think it marries. It was a sequel that most of us were like, I never thought it was going to happen. I didn't think you could do it, especially with how King felt about The Shining. Yeah. And for someone like Flanagan to just like really, really nail it has always stood out to me. That's why I love it, man. It's a masterpiece.
Let's calm down with that. Let's calm down with the
I said what I fucking said.
Let's calm down with the word, okay? They're legitimate masterpieces.
This is one of them.
It is not. Mm-hmm. It's great. Masterpiece. I'm not gonna throw that out there. I don't use that word liberally. I also don't use the word great liberally, as you've noticed.
I don't use masterpiece almost ever. So that's why I can use it for this one, because I genuinely feel like it is one.
You said the last episode of Joe Bob was a masterpiece.
What?
I'm just joking.
I was like, when did I ever? I was like, I would never have said that. Like, I love Joe Bob's movies and the show. Never going to use that term for that. Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's Dr. Sleep. It's my number one.
Yeah. I knew it'd be on your list. I didn't think it'd be number one. That's so fucking crazy, but okay.
Hey, man, look, it is what it is. So now we have to try to take this.
Okay, so if we're talking like all-time grades, right off the bat, Dr. Sleep isn't cracking top 10. I don't think that movie's earned it yet.
It's my number 1, so it has to be on the list.
It'll be on the list, but like it'll be like 11 or 12. It is not earned top 10.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
No, like it's like a lot of these movies have had like time to sit and like time to marinate and time to stay in the public conscience. If we're trying to like be as objective as possible, that movie has not earned a top 10 spot.
It's not about being objective. It's about this is our list.
Well, either way, no, I'm not letting it top 10. I'm not letting it top 10.
It is my number 1.
I don't care.
I will put Shawshank at 1, but you have to give me it at 2.
No, absolutely fucking not.
You have to give it to me at 2.
I do not. No.
It is my number 1 movie on this list.
And?
It needs to be the
Christine is on your list. I'm not putting that shit on.
Yeah, but I will not concede.
Okay, let's okay. So what are our crossovers? So
Shawshank,
Shining,
The Shining,
Stand by Me, Misery, Creepshow. But it has to be chapter 1 though, because we can't do both. It has to be just chapter 1.
Absolutely not.
No, that's not how this works. We both only had the first one.
Fine.
And then
1408
and
Dead Zone
and Green Mile.
Green Mile.
Okay. So the outliers are Carrie, Dolores Claiborne.
Saul said, by the way, that was actually his way of saying Pulp Fiction should have won that year.
I mean, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I think that was the better film of 1994. I would have been happy if I would have been happy if Four Weddings and a Funeral being fucking Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Okay, so the outliers on the list are the one that I have on my list, you have on yours, Gerald's Game, which we can't put on because you haven't seen it.
Right.
Dolores Claiborne. So Dolores Claiborne or Carrie, and what are the ones you have that I don't have in mind?
I would gladly drop Christine.
Okay, we'll drop Christine off.
And I'd be fine. I don't want to drop off The Mist, but I would willingly drop The Mist off for you to have both of those if you give me Dr. Sleep at 2.
Okay, I'll cut you at 3.
All right, fine. I will take it at 3.
I'll cut you at 4.
3. We already?
No, 4.
3. Nope.
If I knew you conceded 3, I would have got.
dropping 2 movies. I am dropping 2 movies from my list.
Okay, fine. I'll give you 3.
A gentleman's agreement.
All right.
Cool.
I think so. Would 14? Okay, I'm gonna type this out. So, would 1408 be our 12? I think we both had it around the same spot.
Yeah, because I had it at 10. You had it at 11.
I had it at 12.
Oh, you had it. I'm fine with it at 12.
Okay. So what was your 11?
My 11 was the Green Mile. We had that at the same spot.
Green Mile. Okay. So yeah, we'll do Green Mile at 11.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we both had 11. So yeah, we'll put Green Mile there.
Right.
I think Carrie should be on the list.
I'm totally fair with Carrie being on the list. Like I said, it was not a quality thing. It was just,
Yeah, I think Carrie deserves a spot on the list.
Okay.
Same thing with. Hold on. What were your outliers? What were your outliers again?
My outliers were The Mist and Dr. Sleep.
Okay, so between The Mist or Dolores Claiborne, which one makes it on?
I'd
vote Dolores.
That's what I'm saying. I would drop The Mist if you wanted Dolores, as long as I got Dr. Sleep in the top 3.
You're dropping all yours just to get. You're dropping all your outliers just to keep Dr. Sleep on the list.
Yes.
In the top 5.
Yes, I am.
That's a terrible trade, but okay.
You know what? I'm a man of my convictions on this, and I'm gonna fucking stick with it as long as Dr. Sleep is at the top.
Okay, so now we got our 12. Now we got to figure out positioning. So we have 1408, Green Mile. What did you have at 10 originally?
My 10 was 1408.
1408. Okay,
because Misery's at 12 for me. Remember, so that was my low one.
All right, so that would drop Misery down. I think Stand By Me was top 5 for you, right?
Yeah, it's 6, but I could put it in.
Oh, 6. What were your top 5?
Okay, so my top 5 are Dr. Sleep, Shawshank, The Shining, It, and Creepshow.
Okay. So I think It Chapter 1 would probably land somewhere around like the 6 range.
That's fine.
Since you didn't have Carrie on your list, we can't put Carrie top 5.
We could put it at 10.
I would concede at 8. I think like 8's a good spot.
All right, cool. 8's fine.
All right. Do we put Stand By Me top 5? Like low end top 5?
I'd be fine with it at 5.
Yeah. Now Creep Show. I had it at 7. You had it at.
I had it at 5.
Okay, so I think we'll split the difference. Put that at 6.
Cool. Fine with me.
So I think this is what we're looking at right now.
All right. So this is our final top 12. I'm going to need you to. We should make a graphic of this after, or just take a picture of it and send it to me, and I'll put it up.
Yeah, we should. So our
final top
accumulated top 12. 1408, The Green Mile, The Dead Zone, Dolores Claiborne, Carrie, Chapter 1.
Yeah, I'm not fighting you.
Creep Show, Misery, Doctor Sleep, which is too goddamn high, The Shining, and The Shawshank Redemption.
It's a good list. It's a solid list.
Doctor Sleep is too damn high, but that's
Stop that. I gave you.
It does not deserve to be higher than Carrie. Come on, let's be real. It don't deserve to be higher than Carrie.
I said what I said.
No.
It belongs where it belongs. And I'm happy with what we just accomplished with this. This was a good list.
Yeah, it was.
It's a solid list. That I made more concessions on than you did to make sure Dr. Sleep was in the top
you basically traded away your entire draft for a first round pick.
I'm fine with it. I did what I did, and it worked.
You did.
So those are our top 12 Stephen King films. And we had a lot of fun doing this. And again, happy birthday to Stephen King.
Happy birthday, King.
Again, we not planned, but it worked out that way. But because you guys are all here, we got a show for next week.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to make sure that you guys are here. You're aware of what's happening. Next week, we're going to be doing the top 12 family horror films.
Yeah, that one's gonna be fun.
Yeah, this is in honor of the fact that Hocus Pocus 2 and The Munsters both come out next week.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have some fun talking about the family spooky side of things because people love family horror. That's like it's a whole thing, really.
I feel like our list for that one are gonna look colossally different.
I'm gonna be very curious how it looks. I think my number one is gonna be a little unexpected, actually.
Yeah, what's that paper? I'm gonna write down.
You can tell me after.
I'm gonna write it down and reveal on the show what I think your number one is gonna be.
I just want you to tell me because I'll be curious if you figured it out.
No. I want to hold this to the chest.
Oh, okay. Well, you do you. So with that, guys, Chance, where can everyone find you on?
Twitter, Instagram at ChanceWars_91. To my podcast, The Tourist by Chance. We've just started. I'll get to that in a second.
Oh, I know. I was just pulling it up.
Yeah, we got Wilder month going on right now. We just dropped our episode on Double Indemnity. We're doing Sunset Boulevard next, and find me on my own show here, Left Side Strong Side. Me and my co-host Mike Deacon of What the Show are coming in and breaking down all the action of the football season. I feel like next week's going to be a bit of a slog just because there are not a lot of great games coming up in the next week. But yeah, here we go. We'll be back live again next Tuesday.
And hopefully the power doesn't go out.
Again.
Saul said next week's show should be subtitled The Ernest Scared Stupid Show. And I kind of don't hate that, actually. Look at the look on your face.
I do kind of hate that.
What, do you not like Ernest Scared Stupid?
No.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You don't like Ernest Scared Stupid?
I don't like Ernest.
We're going to talk. You guys can find me Twitter, Instagram, PJ_Campbell. You can find me here hanging out with this guy. We're doing this show once a week. You can find me over at PLD Projects, where I do 2 mediocre white dudes on film. We just today, I think it'll be coming out. We talk about Rob Zombie's Halloween. We're almost done with the Halloween franchise, leading into Halloween Ends, which opens in just a couple of weeks now, which is fucking wild.
Yeah, it's weird thing that we're this close to a Halloween movie, and I could not care less.
Yeah, that's okay. We all make mistakes.
So is David Gordon Green.
Anyway, I'm not going to let this dude keep running his mouth. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, talking the top 12 Stephen King films, and we will see you guys all next week talking family horror. Bye, friends.